The recent events in Iran present a deeply troubling and tragic narrative. What unfolded appears to transcend the boundaries of peaceful protest, descending into widespread violence and chaos that claim thousands of lives. The targeting of mosques, public spaces, and ordinary citizens points to a situation where legitimate grievance, if it existed initially, was hijacked by forces of anarchy and destruction. Street turned into battlegrounds, demonstrating a horrifying pattern where the breakdown of law and order leads only to severe suffering, impacting innocent bystanders, shopkeepers, and security personnel alike. Globally, a dangerous blueprint for destabilization seems to be at play. It often begins with the deliberate incitement of public sentiment, escalates into the unleashing of uncontrolled mobs, and ultimately pushes a society toward bloodshed and ruin. What is sold as a movement for change can rapidly mutate into a nightmare for the average citizen, where slogans give way to flames. So, this pattern holds a stark and urgent warning for Pakistan. The calls for shutdowns and organized inflammatory campaigns on social media and the mobilization of street power are not isolated incidents. They bear the hallmarks of a broader design to engineer instability. The memories of past violence, where state institutions were directly attacked, law enforcement officials were brutalized, and an attempt was made to besiege the capital, are not distant history. These were not spontaneous accidents, but the fruits of a deliberate conspiracy aimed at crippling the state. So, a critical lesson from Iran's experience is the confirmed involvement of external and armed extremist elements in the turmoil. In the Pakistani context, this raises grave concerns. The potential for existing terrorist networks and politically motivated criminal gangs within the country's troubled region to exploit any period of civil unrest cannot be ignored. They could easily hijack and protest movement, transform legitimate democratic expressions into a front for their own destructive agendas, precisely as witnessed elsewhere. So the threat, therefore, is clear and present. If such a conspiracy is not identified and countered in time, the very foundation of public order, mosques, markets, government buildings, and the security of every citizen could be jeopardized. Once the fire of widespread violence is ignited, no one remains safe. And it is crucial to distinguish between a democratic right and criminal sedition. Peaceful protest is a constitutional cornerstone of any vibrant society. However, arson, murder, sabotage, direct assaults on the state, and collaboration with known terrorist entities constitute something entirely different. And open rebellion against the state. No sovereign nation can or should tolerate armed militias marching on its capital or allow its citizens to be held hostage by chaos. The preservation of the state and the protection of its people from descending into a similar abyss of violence is the paramount duty of any government.
Pakistan's digital politics has quietly produced a new business model, a political name turned into a marketing asset. And Raftar's use of Imran Khan branding shows exactly how cult monetization and audience manipulation work. Now, here are the details that you need to know of. Across X, Instagram, Facebook, and digital publications, one pattern is clear. Content tied to Imran Khan's name consistently outperforms everything else. Raftar itself has highlighted that its Imran Khan branded documentary crossed 1.5 million views, becoming one of its most watched productions. Now, that isn't just reporting success, it's proof of a growth formula. Imran Khan's name is not neutral in Pakistan. It triggers loyalty, anger, hope, and a sense of persecution. When that name is placed front and center, audience don't click out of curiosity. They click emotionally. Algorithms reward this reaction, pushing the content further, converting outrage and devotion into reach, subscriptions, and revenue. Using the name as bait to emotionally trap a specific audience for commercial gain, now that is wrong. That is not journalism. Real journalism informs, cult marketing recruits, and when politics becomes branding, the audience becomes the product. A man who is behind the jail, how can he be used as a marketing tactic? How people are still falling into that trap, the trap of manipulation, the trap where misinformation and disinformation becomes a tool for them to flourish. What a sad and unfortunate reality, as different critics and analysts are saying on social media.